Alrighty folks, welcome back. So we got our next task. Let's actually set the main one. Field research. Select. Now. We have enough material stockpiles from our little AFK crafting section. Actually, why you want to get your automation set up so you can do some AFK handcrafting, movie, TV show or something. Let it go, and then you'll have all this fancy stuff waiting for you. Probably manage some of this stuff here. So we'll get our copper real fast. I think we have enough materials for those, so we'll get our MAM up. The MAM is mainly, the first thing we'll probably do is get those slugs researched that I told you to grab. Then we can power down a couple of our things. We should probably build another factory. So we'll need these actually. You do want to pick these up because we are going to explore. And we'll want to drop them onto certain nodes that we find. And there is, there's copper arrival. Control, this will keep in a straight line, which I kind of like. It's actually one reason why I don't put those frames on the ground on my hotbar. It's kind of... push once, lift up. Ground, so you can run under it without problems. Those are straight. The straight will not quite go, but we're not. It's pretty. So this is automated. Of copper in here. Okay, that'll work out. Because now what we do is go research. Back of that. Alright. And it is. The other thing we want to do is
Milestone
we need
supply the molecular analysis machine, referred to as the MAM, with local resources to research and develop new technologies. Potential technologies include exploration tools, weapons, and factory buildings. These are essential for maximizing your Pioneer efficiency in alignment with Fixit's core pillars: construct, automate, explore, and exploit. To advance Fixit's mission, all notable phenomena, resources, technology, or other influence should be investigated regardless of any perceived danger, as stated in the Pioneer contract.
You might want to build a bunch of these if you have the rods and stuff. If you didn't do a lot of AFK and you're kind of scrambling on materials, don't bother with more miners. So all that fuel making was not completely necessary, so you couldn't accelerate task 1.5 earlier. The exploration without doing a whole bunch of automation. Handcrafting. You can automate your power if you want. I'm going to show you how to do that after when we get to step 2. But if you have enough of these, you won't have to worry about it. So I built the chainsaw and the scanner, even though I'm not going to use the scanner, because it's basically an interesting thing of you don't really need very many screws. Once you have all your tools built, you have one awesome shop built, you never really need screws again, unless you want to put an awesome shop. So I try to cut them out of my early base, so I don't have to deal with them. So help clear out a couple of these trees, which give us some more biomass to be able to build our MAM. Where'd all my... Oh, I guess that thing took a couple of plates too. I'm not worry about screws as soon as I can. Takes, I think, 5. And I'm doing an odd number because each of the constructors is an even number, so that'll put me down to 6. So, so right out here, looks like it kind of belongs. So, oops. Take all these, because there's some research to be had. Now, you can do these all nice and slow and be nice, the Ada, or you can start research.
The remains researched belong to an organism now dubbed the fluffy-tailed hog. It has many characteristics that would sometimes toes need to be stepped on for the sake of progress. Fortunately for you, I have
Give
no
me them toes!
Your enthusiasm for saving the day has been noted. Your attitude has also been noted.
Alright, so you need that
I
one.
will now assume you are an expert and judge your use of
And
these
then you need this
technologies
one,
accordingly.
but it doesn't require a slug, it requires a power
Rushed
shard.
research
So
and
I have to go make one of
development
them.
is exactly why the Save the Day program exists.
I'll only make this one. You can, if you're not, if you're super efficient, like you can wait until you get summer sloops unlocked, but that does take a while. So I would suggest doing
Power
this first one.
shards can now be inserted into all buildings.
Alright everybody, welcome back. Before we head out is we're going to save ourselves some power. Since biomass constantly uses resources, you want to save what you can. So we look at our screws here, they use 10 rods, produce 40 screws. We look at our rods, it actually eats 15 ingots and makes 15 rods. So if you go down here, you can reduce your target number to 10, which will save us from 4 megawatts down to 2.3 megawatts. So almost half the power if we're using 66% of the volume. And then same thing here, this because we do 5 less over there, we need to reduce this to 25 as well, and that'll also reduce us from 4 megawatts to 3.1 megawatts. And then the incoming ore reduced by 5, so we also want 25 here, and that'll go from 5 to 3.9. That's about 3 megawatts of power saved right there. Next we do our cables, uses 60 and makes 30, but it's only being fed by a single wire, which only makes 30. So we need to drop this to half power. That'll only use 30 and only make 15, which is good. And then we're being fed 30 and using up 30 from this one. And this is a normal node, so it's producing 60, so we want it at half. But we have a little bit of stockpiled copper in there, and we don't want stockpiled ore. It does absolutely nothing for you. So instead of 50%, which will make this 30, and then any ore we have will always be there, I like to make this like 49.5%. So very slowly it'll drain the ore in there, so over the course of the next couple of hours, you won't have any ore stockpiled, and if you're really worrying about it, you can come dial this back up to 50%, but it's not super relevant, because you're going to be drowning in wire and cables pretty quickly, so. And then last task before you run out is grab all of your limestone to keep your concrete assembler at full capacity. Throw that in there. Then we are going to head out and do some exploration. Oh yeah. That. Those. Don't. Those. You might want to bring these if you feel like you're going to need the help. The other thing you might want to do is top up your power again, because this is kind of one of our main goals. Geothermal, most people will use coal to replace this step. Now, it used to be the case where you could not automate biomass burners. This hole was not here. So if you built 10 of these, you'd have to do this for 10 of them. But we're going to automate them, so we're just going to put our raw materials in, put it in our leaves. It's going to do all of the processing for us and loading for us. So it's basically super hands-off. And I would actually go all the way to fuel power instead. Geothermal wasn't so good. Biofuel power is not a problem at all anymore. But you got all the fuel loaded, so you probably just put all this away. You probably don't want to carry a bunch of this stuff, so what you can do, potentially, is base building. I have enough plates, but I have a lot of rods. I have Lots? No. Not enough. Can do is just take one stack of rods. Probably cables too. This is probably worth getting before you go out. If you want to do more exploration, I'll point out when we go, you'll
Milestone
notice.
reached. Several new structures are now available for improving factory organization. Foundations provide a building grid, which makes it easier to manage
The next one you'll
placement of
probably
any
want to get
structure.
if you do hang out at
In
the
the
base
event
instead
that
of
you are
going out and about
experiencing amnesia for all
is
events
actually
prior to
nothing.
planetfall. Be
You can do the
reassured that
resource
memories
point
of beloved
thing
humans and or
one
animals would
mainly
have
for
only
the
been
build gun to color
distractions
your
from your
factory.
important mission.
Or this one, mainly for copper sheets, so you can actually automate copper sheets if you want. You will need them for one of the early drop pods. I don't worry about these at this point. So your one's completely done. Your two will come up next. Jump pads you can just kind of ignore forever for a good amount of time. I rarely ever use them, but they are cool. So we're going to go on a little exploration trip. So what you can also do here is this will be my 8, and this will be my exploration stuff. So for example, I said we want to get this one, wait till you get foundations to grab this guy, you can't. But I do this. Some people don't like to do this. If you cannot use foundations to climb, you are going to be extremely limited on your early game resource acquisition nonsense. This, for example, you can't get over here without without building beyond. But I want to come over here. There's materials down here somewhere. Supports. Oh.
Unknown crystalline mineral collected. This mineral is composed of the same chemical elements as quartz and may yield similar industrial functions. Research it in the MAM to establish classification and potential application.
When you go out, don't forget to bring a stack of solid biofuel for your... I honestly hate that those inventories are backwards to me, but a lot of people don't seem to mind, so it's a problem. So we are going to need some of these materials to get some of our more advanced toys. Coal, which we're going to get over here. Sulfur, I think you need sulfur for the sulfur thing, but there's also coal in there, I think. We'll find deuterium, and that's actually, you want to make sure you bring mobile miners with you, because I'm down. You are going to do fighting too, so like I said, if you are not confident with the combat and you feel like you're going to get hit a lot, go ahead and bring some of your fruits and vegetables with you. Right here is going to be our... Here's a coal. I don't know if I looted any coal yet, so I'm going to grab a little bit. Of it. So pure will give you 3, I believe, per ping link, and then normals are 2, and drop pod, crash site. They're pretty much always guarded by stuff, and they have stuff on the ground. Now, these things work in a weird way. I tried looking it up. I was testing this to see exactly, but they don't. When the map's generated, everything's known. You can actually cheat and find out what's at where if you want to. I believe you load it into Satisfactory tools. You put it on their map. It'll actually on each crash site. It'll tell you what spawned there, but it's random every time you make a new game. But it's based off of this is where actually these are always exactly the same. You always need copper sheets. That one. But they basically have tiers associated to them by the game. They don't really tell you that anywhere. I've been thinking about trying to get this set up so you know which ones are which, so you can get geothermal a little easier by knowing which ones you need to go to get circuit boards. But basically what their tier is will give you the type of items that can roll at that location. So like these are like tier 1 or tier 0, so they can only do your basic stuff. You have to go farther afield in order to get access to circuit board stuff, plastic, rubber, all that nonsense. Heavy modular, those are some modular frames. Heavy modular frames and frames, the harder areas will have access to those. Oop. Sometimes they'll fall off, I think. You can use obstacles. Trying dodging them really hard. You can kind of stand next to a tree or a rock. It'll block. You can like kind of sidestep around it, and they'll run into that and not run into you. I think there was. Here. And this is an exploration strategy that some people consider gamey, so if you don't like using it, cut off from a lot of places early on, but hold control, I think, is the standard mass disassemble. Assembling those as you go. Sometimes I leave certain ones up, but it can drain your resources early game. Yeah, so that's to make a bridge and then disassemble the bridge as you run across it, so then once you get the other time. This is one I usually keep up because I have. Oops, so. Yep, there it goes. Hi! Lost his remains up. Got that one. Alright, so here is our pure Caterium that's close. There. If you're down there, you'll have to bridge up to this one. Down there, right, true. Spitty boy. Oh, if they leave you. That's their thing, is they'll actually they track you until they shoot, so you wanna, as soon as they fire, you wanna your direction. So what you can do is take a couple of these guys out, throw them on here. So that'll give us 500 Caterium. Then we come this way. As you can see, I don't have a particularly large amount of concrete, so that's actually a problem. I'm gonna have to. I'm actually gonna need some of these. This, for example. Now, if you want to track these as you do them, you can load in your save file later into the same map thing I was talking about. Look up crash site. Ooh. And it'll actually scan your save and it'll tell you which slugs you picked up, so you can systematically gather all of them in the late game, so don't worry too much about grabbing them piecemeal early on. They cause you too many headaches later. Another good area, a lot of resources, a lot of iron here. Again, that copper that I pointed out earlier. Stone over here. Berries. Limestone there. That might be sulfur. Not enough space for sulfur. Wow. Guess we're going to have to cut this one shorter than I thought. What's the most useless item? Probably this one. Need sulfur.
Unknown
Scanning.
chemical element collected. This non-metallic and multivalent
Sorry, sir,
element
Jeremy.
seems to be present only in a solid state and exhibits a most pungent smell. It is fortunate
I know.
fixit helmets are of such high quality. Research it in the MAM to establish classification and potential application.
This is one reason why I go after inventory slots early on. Inventory is a massive issue, especially if you gather a bunch of elite, like I tend to. Then there are other Cateriums up there, and that one you can get before explosives. So usually I'll get that one first, type it along the path I just took to get here, basically. Just a long conveyor belt. This one's annoying because sometimes he weird and hard to grab. Yeah. Big foot. So normally I'd go up there, but I'm low on resources and space, so I'm gonna... I don't know, this is the bugger that's a pain in the butt to grab. Oh. There he is. Oh. Also, we'll know by now, but slide jumping, move faster. Kind of fun, kind of annoying. It's better than most games, bunny hopping and stuff. You actually have some like skill associated with it to time you. Ooh, still there at all. Ah, timing all off, bro. You can't do it uphill though. You know, on level ground or downhill. Here you. Also a note, sometimes you'll have them go flying. They drop the loot where they died specifically, so if you're looking for remains for something, look to where their like last hit was instead of where their body flew to. Not quite there yet, but that's, if I start doing a little bit more automation, this is where you're going to make most of our concrete. Oh yeah. Got the way. There it is. Oh, there's some more sulfur here too. And then after, you know, once our inventory's done up, we can grab some Ethereum. Should have enough concrete to make some paths and leave them out there. In fact, we might even check our power grid. We actually need like I think I got the number somewhere. Need a lot of concrete for our power. Our first factory. Power factory first. Need a lot of concrete. 1,000, I think. 1,000. Get home. Bam. Alright, megafauna. We didn't get any hatchers. Alien material. We got a summer sloop, so we can research that. And we'll probably look at Sam here in a little bit, so
Summer
avoid
sloop
spoilers.
analysis completed. Summer sloops are somewhere
That's a
between
problem.
battery and conduit, harvesting energy from pockets of space with complete
Just skip that
disregard for the
because
rules
I
of
have
the
the resources
space-time
to do it.
continuum, and distributing it into the message you just skipped is one of the winners of the monthly Pioneer's Choice Most Interesting Message Award. What a shame.
Quartz, this isn't
Not
a super
listening to
interesting
instructions
line
means you
long
waive
term,
Fixit's
but this is what we want.
responsibility for any accidents or
We're
misuse
going to
of
want
these
silica.
technologies.
We'll need more quartz for that. Sulfur. Find more quartz rocks. Sulfur is not quite as useful.
This unknown chemical
None of this
element
stuff is
was
super
in reality
important,
an unusual
so
mixture of solid
quartz is going to be.
sulfide and
Want Blade
sulfate
Runners, and we want the
materials
extra
from which
inventory slot.
sulfur can be extracted. Sulfur's primary use lies in fertilizers, which we have no use for. Instead, this element enables access to
Actually,
more
grab
volatile
this.
obstacle clearing and pioneer defending tools.
Oh, we need 5. Sure. 5 proteins. Alien megafauna. Did this have inventory slots? Structure now. See, we want the
Research
rebar gun.
completed. Alien protein can now be turned into biomass
inventory
or
slots,
alien DNA capsules. In addition to being used for research, the invaluable alien lifeform data in these capsules can be traded for Fixit coupons at the Awesome Sync. We guarantee the best capsule to coupon exchange rate anywhere on this planet.
So we got a decent amount of automation here that many of the materials. This we need. Those. The inventory slots we want costs, I think, 1,000 cables, was it? Absolutely want to get. Because, as you just saw, we ran out of inventory space rather quickly. That was under megafauna. Still not quite there. I need 2 more proteins. Hold this. Mini. We also need capsule. What was the reward for DNA research? Rebar gun. Hogs are the most common, so we need 5 capsules. 4, 5. Megafauna. Get that one.
Research to develop the rebar gun is now available. When completed, you will be in possession of a tool effective against any local obstacles actively objecting to the Fixit mission.
Well, I like to automate cables. We'll kind of want this one. It'll be a minute because we won't have the cables because we can then make the rotors real fast to do a couple more of these other researches. And they got a rebar gun. Got plenty of nails, so that's not a problem. That we can do. That's 6 inventory slots. The other one's a hand slot, which is okay, but not amazing. Depends on what the cost
Pocket
is.
dimension significantly expanded. I worked all afternoon, analyzing the transdimensional confibulatory permutations of alien DNA to achieve this. We are all doing our part for Fixit.
usually do. I meant to mention earlier, I think I was about to, but you fall from any height. As long as you have full health, you cannot die for any. Now, I mean, technically you can land and then get smacked by something. Murdered by radiation. You come over here to grab a bunch of these. You don't need a bunch. It depends. Those are, each one of those is an inhaler, if I remember right. Bottlenecks. On a lot of early game inhalers, so if you need them, don't really need a lot of inhaler healing, then don't worry too much about it. So you're in here. Wow. Now, after these mushrooms, the main reason we're going this way is this way. So, and this way you're gonna have to pull up. I'm pretty sure I didn't dump my ammo. So. There's an angry boy around here somewhere. Oh, there he is. Actually, it wasn't the sulfur, but sulfur is also good. This is what you want. This is one reason why early game bio feels so good. Because you get limestone, you get mycelia, you get silica.
The fruit of this fungus-like flora does not seem to show much potential for use. However, its mycelial network
this is where you want to bring your
investigation.
chainsaw.
Research it in the MAM to establish classification and potential application.
Always come get this stuff. Once you get your blade runners and your slot from silica, then you don't really worry too much about it. But mycelia is extremely energy dense compared to wood and leaves, but still generally better to come over here. Biofuel and other stuff. Also gives you limestone to feed from similar constructor setup. If you're close enough to get the timings right, depending on their pathing. Alright, so make sure you grab all the stuff in the area. Screws, more rotors. So this is exactly why geothermal is good, because those rotors, I can't even build them yet. This one is yes. Here's your hard drive. These are super lovely. New to the game and you haven't found these yet, you will learn
successfully acquired. All pioneers are contractually obliged to preserve and secure any recovered hard drives.
That's the one thing that really sucks to not being 1.1 is I can't disassemble these.
Speculation as to why there are crashed freighters in your fix-it designated zone is discouraged as specified in your contract.
When I'm here, I get all of this, because I like the silica, I like the mycelia, and the limestone's kind of a bonus, but oftentimes I end up with so much of it, I dump it. That's the least useful thing that you get in large quantities I would be doing. Your inventory large enough. There's a few more drop points that are easy access early on. That's the other thing that you can kind of tell the tier of the drop pod is basically what you... 3-1 is obviously like the tier 0. I would say that's like a tier 0, because it actually had slightly worse stuff than the one that needed copper sheets. You kind of tell too because the area actually shouldn't have been able to get there yet, technically. Oh, foundation cheating. Oh. But this goes through, so geothermal is going to be over in that direction a little bit more, so explore that a little bit later. There are more above us. Up here, there's a whole bunch of crash sites with a bunch of resources. We don't really need or have a whole bunch of free inventory space, so we're not going to want a massive conversion up there. We're going to get mostly the things that we want. Basically, you want the silica for this trip so you can get our inventory as big as possible, get our blade runners so our other trips are faster, and you want to get a hard drive or two. That's a free hard drive, and there's one more over here. I don't think it's free, technically, but I believe it's only required like 30 megawatts of power to open. It's essentially. And all these gas clouds, you probably want to avoid them. They do some damage to you early on, and stuff in there is you, but it's not super important. Power slugs and shit. Some of them have crash sites in them, but until later on, you don't want to worry too much about the crash sites. I think it's actually right. This pool, it's right next to it. I forget if it's this one or. Get down and go potty. A lot of these you'll need for inhalers. I just like to collect shit, so even if I don't really need inhalers, I gotta roll the stuff I can. Got all the foodsies. And it's over here. I think right down over here. Russian, small. It actually might be coal. That's coal. Semi-useful. I have coal right next to us, so this isn't super useful to grab, but it might help with. I have to go like around. This drop pod at? These are probably the two first drop pods you want to grab. If you do sheets early, like I was saying you could do, get that other one. But I kind of plan on not using the alternate recipes that drives give, or as a feeling kind of like a super deep area, so I feel like I'm that bit. Totally don't remember where it is. I think it's more that way. Oh, here it is. You see, it's got like concrete. So this is like a 2 row. Ooh. Who knows? You can actually just hop over them. You have to time it right. It's a little easier with blade runners. Concrete, cables, 40 megawatts of power. I think this isn't the one I was thinking. I think there's one right next to the water. It's 30 megawatts. So what you do with these ones is you just build a pair of biomass burners for this one. Depending on what kind of power you got on you. You can just feed in leaves, don't matter. That. And those. Oh, you should have connected those. You should connect those there first and then there, because then the grid is. Do. Open it. Hard drive. Then control click. Pull those out. And you're good. What I want to show you. We'll take a speedy run back home. We'll analyze our findings, and we'll end the episode. Big hog almost killed me. A little bit harder without blade runners. Alright. Oh, so we have all this stuff now. Alright, so we want quartz. Oh, I don't know. Alright. We still need some more quartz for that. But, store a couple of these things. Don't need in our inventories right now. Then we have another place to go right here, I told you. I knew there was quartz over here somewhere. Ooh, no. Ooh. There we go. Oh. Maybe Tom Jones. Oh. Just remember, if you come down this way, have a hell of a time going up over here. Might want to or climb your way back up the way you came. And I will demonstrate why. The spiders! Oh shit. Ah, got it. Hey. Here remains. That for the man. Oh, here's his brother.
Samples of
Stuck.
unknown alien species acquired. Initial data suggests these are predators, but notably they do not have a traditional mouth or eyes.
No arachnophobia mode.
There are,
That's for
however,
losers.
numerous cavities on their head which could fulfill a similar function. Research the remains in
So
the
like I'm not a
lab to
game dev,
establish
because I would make
classification
arachnophobia
and
turn
potential
everything into
countermeasures.
Hey. Oh god, they might get me. Oh shit. Every time Jones. Oh yeah, these things are annoying early on. Oh Jesus. More that they. Oh, where'd you? Oh. Man, those things are annoying early. They're much better once you get a spark gun. They die to one shot from where you. When they swarm you, you want to punch them early and you time it bad. I think you need 2 smacks of the basic cattle prod to kill them. Alright, so now we're good to go and get all of our fun research done. Let's put all this in here for now. Yeah, so I get rid of that. Yeah, we've got a lot of rotors from the crash sites, so we can get some of our other research done. Cool. That's enough. And we have plenty of that.
Research completed. Silica recipe
So you need
unlocked.
250.
New
I forgot how
quartz
much you
research
needed, but
available.
I ended up with enough, thankfully. Frames.
Pocket dimension now extra dimensionalized with
Quartz.
additional dimensional
You
capacity.
might actually need more Blade Runners, unfortunately. I think about it. I don't get a purple yet.
Blade runners unlocked. Equipped to run faster, jump with greater force, and decrease fall damage that might otherwise have lowered your value to fix it.
Because that's not. You'll have to get steel tubes from things for that.
This mushroom, dubbed bacon agaric due to its uncanny resemblance to raw bacon, is compatible with the human digestive system and has been added to the object scanner. Further research is available. The mycelial networks of these fungi possess unusually resilient hyphae, which show potential for making a strong but lightweight natural fabric. Additionally, it has similar medicinal and pest control applications to mycelia on Earth. The remains researched belong to an organism with 8 jointed legs, similar to the legs of arachnids but with non-standard distribution and function. Because its attacks focus on stabbing prey with the ends of their legs, which resemble insectoid stingers, they have been dubbed stingers. Stinger remains can now be made into alien protein, and additional research may reveal options for improving pioneer safety during exploration. Rebar gun and iron rebar ammo unlocked. Your ingenuity towards preservation of fix-it property has been noted. You earned a micro break. And welcome back. I hope you feel refreshed.
Funny.
The metal has been named Caterium after Fixit's greatest CEO Katerina Parks. It has been added as a viable alternative to gold in industrial applications, specifically
Yep.
in advanced
270
electronics due
exactly
to
for
its
Blade Runners, and I lucked out.
superconductivity, malleability, and corrosion resistance.
Rebar gun will probably take nails, so there, screws. That's why you'll need a bunch of screws early on, but eventually you'll not need them. In fact, like this is already probably more than I'll need. That's one reason I set this up this way. Is you might want to actually yourself room to split these off and actually just down your screw thing as you go, so you just get more rods. Although honestly, I call this being too many rods eventually. You need a lot when you start building your buildings, sorta. So don't worry too much about it. They'll never really go to waste. We need 100 of these for parachutes, because you also want a parachute. Because they are good. You want your Blade Runners, you want your parachute. That'll give you a lot of early game mobility and
Research completed.
fibers. You can also do this,
Recipe
but
unlocked. New mycelia research available.
quick fabric. Sorry, a bunch of keys. I think it was 10 fabric. And we need a couple more fabric.
Parachute unlocked. Fixit appreciates your willingness to descend rapidly to perform your duties, but damaging Fixit property is a breach of contract and will have unpleasant consequences. Improve descent efficiency by combining the forces of gravity and drag with a parachute.
This, and then we'll be an exploration machine. We should have enough stuff stockpiled. We can actually build our power array, and we'll do that next episode. Parachute. And our rebar gun. Got the screws for it. And rebar. Rebar gun's my favorite. I use it all the way to endgame. It's one of my... I pretty much barely use the rifle even once I get it. I find it more annoying. It's actually useful. So, you want this on your body, on your back. legs. Now we can jump higher, run faster, fall farther, and you can climb surfaces. Lift. I think you crouch. Yeah, you crouch to drop your parachute, and you can actually redeploy it. So I think before 1.0, parachutes really sucked because they were one uses, so no one ever used them. But now they're one of the. I actually use it over jetpacks. So the other thing we want to do is we can scan a hard drive. Bring it in. So a tactic you'll want to maybe get used to is, say you're out and about exploration wise, you drop a man. A hard drive? I actually don't know every one of these. And then you pick up your man. And your hard drive is at all the MAMs, yeah. So when you're out and about, you can just drop a MAM, research the hard drive, pick it up. They take 10 minutes each. So you're out and about, research keeps going without having to come home. Now, that's not. So like I said, we need steel before you can make inhalers. I actually thought you got inhalers sooner than that, but so that used a large chunk of our fuel for that exploration trip. But we have a lot of material saved up. Oh, I wasn't even max yet. Is that all? Oh wow, I burned through that much solid bio. Oh yeah, I guess I burned through that much solid biofuel already. Like 1,000 of it. So that's why at this point you really need to start switching your power over. That's one reason why we built as quote-unquote little as we did. We could obviously have built more. Kind of don't want to. So, want to keep your power cost down against some of the underclocks we have going. That your power lasts long enough on your exploration trips. But once we get our big bio one, we can just come back home. Instead of me hammering all these out, I can just go dump them in a thing. It'll convert it all the way up to solid biofuel and inject it itself. It's super, super nice. Anyway, we finished task 1.5. Next episode, we are going to switch over to task 2 and get our main biofuel power array and ready to go. And then after that, we're going to do even more exploration to get more resources. Depending on how well that goes, we might even have the stuff for geothermal fairly early. We do have some deuterium research to do, which will require some hand crafting to get the ingots known. You'll have to do these 50 ore into ingots in order to get that. And then after that, you then use how we did the copper, set up a deuterium wire setup. Either you can go to that far deuterium one I didn't go to just yet. It's around where? Shadow. Or you can do the hand drill miners that I have currently right there, and just run it back into the thing like we're. Either way, I'm gonna get a couple things done, and we will get our main power array next episode.